Welcome to the stream. I'm William, also known as Will Forge, and today we will forge, as all other days. Now let me load into the map here and we'll get started. Trying to do it a little earlier, 20 minutes earlier than last time, at best. Need to wake back up at 8 o'clock if I want to get some real work done. But that's okay. Today, we woke up when we wake up. So this bridge is done, and I'm doing rocks. I hadn't really gotten to do as much off stream yesterday as I wanted to, so it's just a matter of, you know, getting started now. Now, the rocks for this wall are going to be fairly simple to get built out. They're not super detailed in the original, although that's because you can see, if you look at it, there's a lot of texture detail that sort of tries to give them some depth, and we want to achieve that depth more effectively. Like right here I scaled it down super low and it's basically flat, and it's not I don't know if that's actually what I want to do, because the way that looks, it just kind of feels like a, like too flat, you know? Feels like a flat wall, flat panel. It's a little bumpier on this side. Maybe I can just use this side. Looks like it's actually, you know, a little bumpier. Anyway, I don't want to. The point is that I can make this a little bit thicker and maybe have some more texture to it. But yeah, that looks pretty good. I don't want to clip inside this here. I will have to move this little floor piece though. That's for sure. Because it's just too in the way. Now let's see how this curves here. I think maybe I should pull up you know, pull up the map in Blender instead. But yeah, let's see. Okay, so it goes up that there. Yeah, I'm not to that point yet. Okay, cool. And this thing, yeah, I'm just gonna have to. Well, I mean, it's lined up perfectly in here because there's a snapping point right there. So if I rotate it, ooh, that's not what I wanted. If I rotate by 45 degrees, and I pull it in, say here, rotate by 45 degrees again, then I'm gonna have to pull it in on both sides to make it line up again. And that is fine. I'll do that. So this is how it was lining up before. Let's make sure we've got it centered. Yeah, actually. Yeah. Wow. Huh. That went smoother than I thought it was going to go. Let's see. Alright. So that's out of our way. No more floor poking out. And that means we can just might be able to make this a little thicker now into the wall, because those walls are actually very thick and don't really need to be. There we go. If we go in, oops, jeez. Okay, here we go. Inside, we're inside the wall. We have a long ways to go before we actually hit anything. This will work out pretty good. We go to like here, and then we'll keep that rocky texture a little bit better than scaling it completely flat like I was going to do. Of course, the way it's clipping into it does foil some of my future plans. Whenever I do the glow up version, I'm thinking about turning these into putting glass instead of metal, and putting water in, like making it look like there's water inside, and sort of turning them into these sort of water tanks on the side. And then putting maybe a grav lift here that goes up into an upper area with water. I'm also considering turning these into little water tanks and making them like was thinking if I can make it animate to go up, and as it goes up, the pump in the middle, that these would have like bubbles inside, and it'd sort of be like dusty and dirty. But like as it rises up, the dirt, like the particles of dirt floating around inside that I've placed in there with particle effects, would either disappear completely or just slowly fade away or something like that. Maybe I'd have 3 of them inside there and disappear one, and then disappear another, and then disappear a third one. And as that happens, you know, some of them appear inside these things, like they're water tanks, and they're pulling the dirt out, and they'll just increase and increase and increase until there's super foggy and dirty looking water in there. And then the pump would go down, shoom, and then this would sort of like act like it dumps, and these would act like they dump, and then suddenly they'd fill back up, and then as soon as they hit full, it would start going back up again. Those are some of my thoughts on how I could make that extra cool, and but that won't be in the 1-to-1 version. I'm just gonna make the 1-to-1 version look like Waterworks. But I just thought that would be really cool for overall, you know, for the other version. Okay, so I think this one would be good for here as well. And okay, so it goes up the side of this thing. Now, mine might be too thick. I never actually made it thinner like it was, like I talked about potentially doing. Like this thing here might be a little thick. I mean, it might be right. Now that I've finally got that doorway built out, it kind of does feel maybe like it's right. But I'm just saying it might be, there's a chance that it's actually very thick. And I might need to fix that. The slope of this wall is not extreme enough. Oop. I don't know what just happened. That didn't make any sense. Whoops. Okay, well, we will duplicate it again and switch this back to... turn this back off of that. And I believe I had flipped it over to here. That is a decent... let's see. You're able to climb. Able to climb this? No, it gets too steep right there. Okay. So that would be around here. But it would get too steep. So I need to make it too steep. And I also think that this is not steep enough of a wall at the base. I think it needs to... okay, no, at the base it is straight up, and then it tilts. So pretty much exactly as I have it, right around that height, it's going to tilt. Pretty much like that. Okay. That's turning out pretty good. Let's see. So if you can walk up here, but you can't get up that, then that would be exactly what I want. And obviously, I need to put rocks under here. It does hug it a little closer in the original, like this sort of, I have it sort of leaning out and to the side, and that's not really how it works in the original. Like this piece should be, I did that for the inner tilt. Is that correct for the outer tilt? No, it kind of goes up and curves in. I think that maybe this rock isn't quite right. And also, it's only supposed to lead up to the base of this piece up here. So it might be too tall. Yeah, it's supposed to get up to here, and I've got it getting up to a little bit higher than that. It needs to be down like this high whenever it's over there. So, basically, this piece needs to just be lower. And I could probably put it in like this, so that the slope actually comes off there easier. Like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I need to be a little bit further in, which means this thing's just blocking it. Then you bring it this way. Maybe a little more down. There we go. Yeah, it's a little closer. Let's see. I think this piece is somehow a little weird with this rock here poking up. I might need to switch out which rock I use here, because this is just in general that little lower area here isn't actually accurate. I'll do that in a second. Because right now I'm trying to get this rock here to hug it a little closer. It kind of just merges into the structure. It doesn't really block anything. So it actually probably needs to be flipped around. Because, what is going on here? What is it hitting that is making the physics want to freak out like that? It actually should be more like this, so that it kind of curves up, like that, you know? I think a curved rock, I think that's one of the things that I haven't found yet very well, is a rock that's nice and curved so that you can place it in places like this. Like inwardly curved. But, eventually I'll probably find one that can scale nicely and everything. But, for now, that's something I need to look for. Still. Here we go. Haven't been placing rocks, so that explains why I haven't found one yet, but... Okay, yeah, that moved it again. I need to scoot it back this way. So that you can get back to lining up with the rock or the metal there. Let's see. Okay, can this one get thicker, or are we already colliding? Oh, jeez. No, if anything, it needs to get thinner. Okay. So I think I need to make it two different ones. Several different ones. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, making like this sort of stone facade is going to be the hardest part. Like the hardest part of the rocks is the stone facades on top of these structures, because you got to be able to scale them without losing their definition. I think that one of the ways to do that is going to end up being the very large mountain. Where is that? Is that even in the... Is that down here, or is that somewhere else? Might be in terrain. Yeah. Rugged. So, the rugged terrain is so rough that whenever you scale it down really flat, it can sort of retain its texture, like its vertical effects, really well. So if I make this look like a stone, and I use it on the walls, the cavern walls, it should be really nice and bumpy. And that could give me the rocky texture that I'm looking for. Which would mean I need to go in here and get some swatches. Rock A. And rock. Let's find some stone of some kind. Rock cliffside, maybe? That looks pretty close to that. Dirt flat wouldn't be too bad. Dirt stones might be better. And then the issue is that it's the wrong color. So the cliffs, I believe, in Waterworks are mostly just gray. But what they do is, by being lit up by yellow lights and green lights and stuff like that, they come out looking all sorts of different colors. could theoretically... Oh, there's some brown in there. I don't even know where that swatch is. Is there a fourth? Oh, is it the grime? Yeah, it is. It's kind of cool. Yeah, that adds some nice texture to it. What about scratches? Do scratches do anything? It's like a faint hint of a shift. It looks like, but it's so faint. If there is one at all, and I'm not imagining things, then it's just super faint. Okay, so this could give me like a good facade for a lot of the cave wall. And it would potentially, I might need to shift those grays to sort of bleed into my actual rocks better. Like this one might need to be darker. Let's see. And that might, you know, fit my rocks a little better. And, making this one really bright actually fits the rocks really well. Helps with the shines and stuff. So yeah, that might be good. I could theoretically build out my walls with terrain pieces like this. And that would probably work out pretty nicely. Okay. So then I need to find a good way to put it. And scale it. I'll put this one to the side. And this is going to be my painted wall that I will reuse over and over again. And if I put this over here, and what I can do is I can actually make rocks bleed through this. This can just be my backdrop to all of my cave walls. Where, like, for example, I could do something to the effect of that and like place actual rocks inside of it all over the place and sort of like use it as a not like this. This is kind of a bad placement for that to make it look like a good facade, but let's see. Let me know if this is if there's a better way to do this that you're aware of, because this seems like a good place to start for me, but maybe there's a another technique people are using to make a convincing kind of structure. But yeah, we want this to slope up, and then eventually it's going to bend, and that means I can use another one of these to sort of like make that bend in the ground. Let's see, by leading it into a second one. It definitely looks a lot like rock in the original, so using stones to build it out wouldn't be terrible. It actually might be really good, but I just having them maintain their texture is very difficult whenever you're shrinking them to be so thin and so large. So I'd have to place a lot of them in that case. And maybe that is for the best. Maybe I should place a lot of them. Like if I bring it down like this, the texture becomes more prevalent. And if I put a bunch of these together, then that would definitely work to some extent. I just don't want to I don't want to have a whole bunch of seams between the rocks. It just makes it look like a stacked bunch of rocks on top of each other. You know what I mean? I want it to look like one solid wall. So maybe these terrain pieces are best. Maybe rocks are best. Just trying to figure that out. Trying to feel that out. I will say that this can probably be a little bit wider this way. Might actually solve a lot if I do this here, like that. Because then I can bring this in, get my slope, And then you can sort of jump up here, come up here. Can't go any higher. You can kind of stand right there. Where did I say? Oh, that was weird. Okay. Okay, so there are some spots you can stand. I need to make that slope back to being a little bit sharp. I just rotated it, but that should work better. Okay, here we go. So that's a good spot there. Let's see if you can get up. No. And is it in the building? Okay, so this is that piece. That piece is too thick. Okay, so I have to bring it down, which means it's going to lose some of its definition. That's going to be somewhat frustrating. Shouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, cave walls can sometimes be... Whoa, that's a lot of... That's a lot of collision. Even this rock is poking through. Jeez. Gosh. Okay. This is what I mean by there's a serious lack of, curved stones. Like, this piece has this inward curve, sort of, but not really. I need one that has a good, like, cavernous sort of shape to it. You know? That shape right there could theoretically be what I'm looking for. Which would be, I could extend it out this way and sort of make the shape I need in a way. And the reason is because, like, that means I can sort of make it dip around the building on the inside. And that would be pretty good. Obviously this is too much, but maybe this is the piece I'm looking for right here. Honestly though, this is all too thick anyway. This is like really, really thin in the original. It's like a Spartan thick. So realistically, this needs to be like there at most, which means it doesn't need to be clipping through the wall. I believe that was why I had it scaled the way I did when I just changed a second ago. Just for this. Because it was clipping into the wall and I needed to drag it out. There we go. Okay. And so this is too thick. This is a weird angle. Nope. Okay. Yeah, that makes that rock less prominent. That little bulge part. I don't think this rock is going to work here, though. I got it because I had a nice little slope thing here, which was like this piece here. It's supposed to be less prominent than it is, and it's not, and I don't know. I don't think this rock is going to work here. Unless it's a better side. Yeah, no. I need to find the right rock for that. Still need to solve this clipping problem, though. So that's as close as I can get it. There's this, which needs to go out. This, which needs to go out. Or up. And let's see. Yeah, that one can just get moved away for now. So these are like really thick, way too thick. And that's what I mean. We're gonna lose a lot of definition in that rock, what do you call it? Like face, rock face. That's the word. Let's see. So this is supposed to go up there, and then it should be. And now it's clipping horribly. Yeah. So we need to make this much more shallow and rotate it to like a solid, a more flat side. Hopefully that doesn't clip. It does, but not by much. So that could be where we're at, or I could maybe rotate it. Let's go to world. There we go. that'll give me... Geez, it's still there. Okay, that would be... let's see. It's still too much. Okay. This still needs to go back here. Which means... yeah, balancing these. It's a balancing act with rocks. It's just about feeling out where you gotta go. Let's see. No clipping. Good. And, yeah, we're going to make this one way thin to bring it back in. Let's move this mess so we can see what's going on. Yeah, it's way too much clipping. Clipping? Yeah, major. Okay, I'm beginning to think that I'm just going to have to bring this in all the way, or something, or nearly all the way. And then maybe add more rocks to the outside once I get this as an underlying facade. Because the way that I'm trying it is not working. Okay. That looks pretty good. Is it? Dang, it's still clipping. Is this at all gonna work? Like, this is nonsense. Okay, I really do think that I'm making this too big. I think I'm gonna have to make it out of much smaller pieces that are much thinner. This is gonna clip, so that I can feel out this shape a little better. I don't think I'm going to be able to get the curves of the original cave, which is fine because it's the natural part of the... You know, as long as I get, like, that protrudes enough, you know, to block the sniper, or this, you know, and this is walkable, you know, and stuff like that, the cave doesn't really need to look identical. And I knew that that was going to be a conclusion I was going to have to come to eventually, but... part of me was like thinking that there may be a chance I could find just the right way to do stuff, but I mean, there are some areas of the map that I might be able to do that, but like this area has to be so thin because they don't have the back of the rock to deal with. They were just like, yeah, just make the front of the rock, that's all that matters. And it was a decent facade. Okay, so we have this. It's a little bit too close to that piece there. Check inside. Yeah, it's definitely not clipping anywhere. The really flat rocks work great. I did this last night a little bit. And I was like, yeah, make it super flat and it works out perfectly. Start making it a little thicker and it starts ruining it. Like basically this part that juts out, I don't have yet, but I can put a rock there once I have this sort of facade and let it just, it doesn't have to match up with all the other sides and stuff like that because it'll just be protruding from that, that flat facade. Okay, so it does start to clip into the corner down here, not quite as much as I have it, but that is really close. Actually, that might be like mine has it. Yeah. Okay. I'll tilt it a little more. And that should... yeah, it just clips the bottom corner. That's cool. I think my lights might be too high. I snapped them to like a middle piece here, middle part here, so it'd be the same on both sides. But, yeah. Okay, let's see. Just looking at them, they look like they might be a little too high. Okay, so... need to look up there. Need that curve. I think I might switch to Blender. Whoop. Mainly because I'm not looking at color, I'm looking at shape. So if I tab out of that and tab into this one, I can kind of see these angles pretty much exactly. A very rounded shape. I'm looking at the wrong side of the map. Let's go over here so I can see where it really, you know, goes into this piece here. Yeah, okay. Okay. So this is pretty good. I would say this is going to be the outer sort of facade, and then I should duplicate it and make an inner piece that should... I just need to discover inner piece. Let's see. That'll go there, and this one can be thicker and can go clip right into the big structure and kind of come up here. I don't want to go through the ceiling of the big structure, but in fact, ooh, it's horrible. Okay. I need to flatten that out vertically if I'm going to use it. I think I might need to use a different rock for this. Or if anything, I need to turn it around. Because... I think I need one with a really flat side. Because I need to be able to line it up there. And what I also need to do is... flip this over. What the heck? It won't let me rotate the object. What is happening? I don't understand. Okay, well, I'm only going 30 degrees there. I don't want to do that. Okay. This is weird. There's nothing in there for it to collide with on a collision. Like the collisions. What the heck? Oh, jeez. Someone else was saying they ran into this with a PC, I think. And I had not ever run into it before. But it does look like I'm seeing it now. So if it gets too flat whenever you scale it down, then I need to scale it down so I can make this one flat against that roof. And then I can scale it however I need to. In fact, should I just put some rock down? Yeah, I think so. Some really flat rock down. Right on top. It just sort of cushions the difference, you know what I mean? Like gives me a little bit of a play for the rock to go in. Where I can just sort of... I wanted to thicken up the roof so that whenever I clip through it, it's not as big of a deal. But, actually, you know what? I'm gonna have a stony part in the front there. I don't know if that is entirely necessary. Let's see, okay. So I think that's actually a really important part of what I need to do. Is I need to build the bridge of rock between that... Ooh, Jesus Christ. Really? You're gonna call me that with that loud of a sound right there, right next to the mic. I apologize, everyone. That was ridiculous. Okay, okay. So what I'm seeing is that I can't go off the bottom of this slope. And I don't think I was planning to. I was planning on clipping into it. Because the rock sort of bridges to there-ish on the original. And I was noticing just now that it needs to not hit this wall whenever I put the rocks in. So basically, this piece is really nice, I've found, because it has this really nice straight edge there. And that makes me be able to do a lot with it. I think I'm going to use it like this and scale it down a lot. And made like a little facade here. This piece is fairly thick, I believe. No, it's not. It's just a box. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's like... make it as flat as it goes, and then just use it as a facade. Okay. So this needs to like kind of go up an angle. I can kind of make it go at an angle afterward by making this a little shorter and a little wider. That's a little bit right there. That's a little. Okay, so that should not clip. Good. And that'll give me a backdrop for my stones to sort of attach to. That will sort of frame out the door. The door needs to protrude. The door frame itself sort of protrudes from the rock. On sort of like, you know, across the top and then on each side. And so I need to have that effect. So I think I need to duplicate it as well. And rotate it this way. Put it down here as a facade. Sort of tilt it in and like let the two merge. And then later whenever I put better stones in front of it, it will, I may even eventually be able to delete it, because the better stones might fill in the holes. But having it here originally means that I have a lot of, even if I, you know, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it with the whole deleting it thing, because I don't want to, you know, sort of make myself any promises. I might have to keep this here as a backdrop, like really inside the, like behind all the other stones. And that would definitely work. That would definitely do its job. Although it is maybe a little bit not tilted enough, because it is supposed to go into that piece. Let's see, something like that. Then this one needs to be tilted too. And it doesn't clip. It does, a little tiny bit. There we go. Okay, now I could also move these down, I suppose. They don't need to be this high, and that would definitely make it to where they cool. Okay. Don't get in the way of other stones. Okay. So now I can put other rocks in front of that and coming out of that, and it should come out pretty nicely. Like if I bring this over, do I want this slope? I think I need this to be sloped a little bit. And then I can just sort of feed it into the facade. I think I'm not going to use this rock though. This one once again has that nice straight edge on it that'll allow me to lead it into a structure. Those other rounder ones would be really good in more natural areas, but the straight edge of this one is really useful. It doesn't clip into things when it's not supposed to. Just isn't prone to clipping as much. That straight horizontal edge is very unnatural looking. I need to make sure these two rocks sort of clip together in a way that makes that, it dissolves that edge a bit. Yeah. And also doesn't collide in here. Let's see what that looks like out here. It definitely looks good on the way that it clips into that structure. And, oh, geez, come on now. Why is it bouncing around on me? Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I will say that I believe this is a little more lined up that corner. Obviously that's because they had to be, because they were matching polygons, and that was the exact spot to put it to make the corner. But that is an aspect of the original I can preserve, because there you go. It is right at the corner now. And then a better rock down here to sort of merge these two together, or something to that effect, would definitely help. This is kind of jutting out there, so maybe scale it in a little bit, just enough, and I can fill that void with another piece. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Do I need to slope this more so I can bring it back out and make the edge look better? See how that looks inside, if it's clipping into anything. It is, because I brought it back down. There we go, I guess that's where I gotta put it. Okay, yeah, that edge does not look as bad anymore. Between the two, this is a super flat piece. But we're gonna put some rocks in front of it. It will just be a facade. Hopefully we'll find, might even put another one of itself in front of it, but like less flat, so that we can have a little more texture. Or a couple of itself. Let's see. I think that if I put another one of these and scale it down substantially. That I could put it right here. Sort of merge it into itself, the previous one. These scale is. Oh, okay, there we go. I was on none, and it was not working out. Let's see. There we go. This should keep like similar sort of like flow of the stone to the one that I'm clipping it into, because it is the same piece. That works, but it doesn't quite look good where it meets up. It's too stretched. And there are points where you can sort of like find the curvature of the stone that like matches up perfectly. Where if you get the stone like this is a good spot for what I'm trying to say. You get this stone to sort of curve into itself instead of being like, if they're too close to the same slope, and then you have them clipped together, they look more like this, where there's like a seam that's really obvious, because the texture just kind of changes, but then the direction of the stone itself, like, to mouse. If I switch to, oh right, I'm in build mode. That's why it's not letting me. Okay, this seam right here, there's like this texture sort of just ends in it, is close enough to the original slope, but not quite, that it makes it kind of look weird. But up here, it's nice and natural because I made it curve into the other stone, which allows it to, by making it almost like a right angle, or close to it, it allows it to feel like it's just another piece of stone that's changing direction, you know? So whenever the texture changes here, it's fine. That's actually really good because it looks like two pieces of stone. But if it changes elsewhere, if it changes to close, then a lighting issue like this, where the green is shining up there and is working on this. I mean, I'm pretty sure the baked shadows are going to fix this, because it's shining on that, and the shine is going up into there, even though it's being blocked by this rock. So it's making this weird shadow effect. It is weird, like, shine that's being cut off. So I think this is going to work just fine how it is whenever after I bake the shadows. Whenever you bake the lighting, it'll fix this. But the problem is, it's going to look bad right now. So it's going to be kind of hard to like line some stuff up like that. because it's just kind of, you know, one of the things that you have to deal with. And I think I'm going to actually rotate this one like this. Sort of put this flat edge down. And maybe even flip it over to use the other flat edge, actually. No, because it's become a sloped edge now. I need to... Oop, nope. Turn that back over. Tilt it. And then I can actually make this one much thicker because it's so much higher. It's not down there. And that'll be nice. Stones are going to be real tight right up to the edges, like really hard to place. And then as soon as I get those positioned, it's going to be suddenly very easy to just slap stones together and get the right slope and be done. That's what I imagine anyway. I'm sure that, you know, like that's how it was with Reach anyway. If you eventually got to your point where you were able to just do stone to stone, it was like, it became super smooth, like super easy, barely an inconvenience. Let's see, this is kind of weird looking. Because this feels like such a big solid piece it would just break away. Okay, that looks a little bit better. I think if I clip it through just a bit, that'll work too. And now we're kind of a little higher than we're supposed to be. I feel like maybe this piece and this piece could move down a bit. But otherwise, really good. Yeah, they need to move down a bit, which means this piece can go down a bit, and it actually might blend better now that it's in a different position. Tilt it a bit, and into it. See if that's clipping. Horribly. Horribly. Okay. I was giving this stone, this piece, more credit than it's worth. Yeah, it's way far down. Okay, I was thinking I was working with a different... Oh, right, because I was trying to work with this piece like this, but somehow I tilted it. Okay, well, we'll put this piece in this and see how that works. Somehow I ended up tilting it and not thinking about the impact it would have down below. That looks not bad. It does look horrible. Okay, so we're gonna have to make this a little bit shorter and go with the long side or something. Get with the side that has a nice, that looks like a good flat bottom that we can work with. Let's just make it significantly smaller across the board. Just sort of fit it into this piece. Maybe this little gap here. That's what I'm trying to fill. It's this little piece right here, which feels a little bit weird, the way that it's sort of positioned. Like this hole. It's weird. Okay. That looks not bad. Do need to get that rock from protruding out the side. Having a little sort of bump that, no, because then you're going to be able to get up on top of that, aren't you? Let's see. Yeah, that's a little platform. That's not in the original. There we go. Now it's a little bit of a slope at the top. So if you land up here, oh, you still can stand because there's a little nice little 90-degree angle there somewhere. Okay. So it's going to be a little bit more tricky than I thought it was going to be. Tricksy, tricksy. Let's see how this works. Yeah, you can still sand on that. Okay. I think I need to bring it a little bit more vertical or something. I think I need to get a flatter piece, flatter area of this piece. Let's see. Actually, this side's pretty flat. If I could get this side to line up in there, I could actually go like this. Whenever you scale it enough up to where you can actually like sort of hide the seams between your stones. It also unfortunately comes with the added side effect of this needs to go further in with it. The added side effect of what the heck? Oh, my deselect all isn't working. I see, because I used my mouse earlier. It comes with the added difficulty of those extra, like that extra 90-degree angle at the top of that. It just needs to go away. Oh, jeez. I almost fell off. Okay. Alright, so now if I jump up here, it should just... No, it's still... Okay. Pain in the butt, rock. Won't be a pain. Okay, that fills the hole. This brings it closer to there. And that makes that thing stick out. Which, let's see, isn't too big of a deal. I guess I can thicken this a bit now and make it sort of fill in the gaps there. And yeah, that looks much better. Obviously got deselected to make it look nicer. This seam here still seems a little bit weird. And I think I'm going to tilt this out. It's just bringing that rock out further. I think that this one needs to be tilted up like this. And may even need to be rescaled. I think I had it just right, but like, if I rescale it this way, will it fit better? And then I can put two of them, one to the left and one to the right or something. Let's see. Okay, so that's that, and now I just gotta check it out here. It has a small opening there. I wonder if I can scale this slightly up more. Obviously, gotta make sure it's not clipping through. But that would definitely work that. Yeah, that looks nice. I mean, this looks terrible, but the definitely looks better this way than it was before. Okay, how's that on the inside? Did I just clip it back through? I did just clip it back through. Oops. Okay, we're gonna try and just rotate it this way until that stops clipping through instead of... Oh, and then, oh, is it clipping over here or is that different rock? That's a different rock. I gotta find out which one that is. Okay, that was not supposed to be turning that direction. It was supposed to be turning a different direction. Okay. Thought. Yeah. Okay. Must have turned my camera and made it tilt a different direction, so it ended up turning the wrong way. Okay, so now we've got this, which is pretty good at the moment. We need to get that one. Which rock is this? This one, okay. That's fine anyway, because I kind of wanted to bring that out. I was just looking at that, thinking that looked a little rough. There, that feels a little bit better. And like I said, these green lighting artifacts are probably going to be fixed during the baking process. Feels a little higher than it's supposed to be, but once again, but not really much I can do about that. That's a really good merge. It works really well too. This one still needs to go further back to match up with that one. I don't want to add... What if I do this? What if I tilt that a little more vertical? Sort of create this sort of effect here. Then it will sort of get rid of that piece as a problem, I think. I'm just worried you're going to be able to get up on it like that. So I can lead that into something else. I think it goes, you know, I can make that go into another piece to make it sort of slope up further. And that is something like this. Like, we could get this. And we could... Let's see, hold on. Flip it around. No. Flip it over. And then tilt it like this. That's what I meant to do. Except we can tilt it way more vertical. And we can sort of lead that into here, and by doing that, first off, you won't be able to stand on it, and secondly, it will make that sort of bulging rock piece go into more rock there, which will be really good, I think. Let's see how easily you can climb this. Not at all. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, what was that? There's a clamor. Okay. Suddenly super easy to climb? Jeez. I mean, you will fall, but that's a little interesting. So, I think it was this little piece here that's jutting out. That's not the end of the world because you can't stay up there very easily. I'm sure that someone's going to be able to find a way to stand up there, and it's not going to be like the worst thing ever. Oof. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, there you go. See? You could stand up here and use it to like counter snipe, I guess. Like fight back against a sniper. A little easier than you're supposed to be able to, which is like here. And we're going to go to Master Chief Collection and look at how far over we can see that. To see how much of that upper area we can actually see onto. Like that area there. Okay, let's see. Missed that plasma rifle sound in Infinite. So you can actually see the doorway from here. Whereas in mine, you can just barely see it, actually. Oh, okay, yeah, no, you can. You can see it. This is right. Huh. And if anything, it's a little... You can walk a little further this way. Because this pylon is not letting me see very much of that door, but if I could go just a little bit further to the left, then I would be able to. So, in theory, this could thicken up just a bit. And maybe tilt inward like this. Sort of allow me to move it over. And still work. It's just a little bit thicker again. Put it in there, then yeah, okay, let's see. See what that looks like. Okay, so we've got a little higher than we're supposed to be there, but we can actually see over the ledge. I had suspected that this went down too far. But yeah, now I can get to the left here, and we can see... Jeez. Well, yeah, we could see that corner of that doorway, and we were able to see the top of that one, so that looks right. Okay. And then we're going to go from there, continuing to build up this facade over here. It's a really super flat one, needs to be used a few more times, I think. Need to move this thing. It's just, like, in my way. I'm, like... working on the other side of that thing. Let's see. Okay. Definitely need to find a way to make this curve a bit over this corner, which is probably going to use those pieces. So, wrong way. If I do this, and sort of get that piece to go over that, and give me that effect, one thing I do need to check in Master Chief Collection is how much of these lights are... No, it literally touches the entire way up. The back of these panels to the point where I almost feel like I should grab these panels and scale them into the wall and just let it disappear into the wall. But I will instead focus on trying to get this to be as flat as possible and move it over. And very much so, scale it down. Because it can clip a little bit into it, it just can't clip out that side. So, just the shape of that, you know, that little corner, that notch out, makes it fit. And then once it fits, that's all it matters. Okay, go. Let's see. There we go. That looks great. And now I can duplicate it and flip it around and do the other side with it. Little wings. That'll give me the top as well. And then that will be this area. Obviously I need to get this side, but for the most part that would be the area right up against the building. Fairly well done, and then I just need to go from there. More rocks. There we go. They're sort of building, you know, framework. Buildings, you know, natural framework. So I made mine taller than it needed to be here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And I can put any rock down here because it's below the other structure. And then over here, comes straight out of there and keeps going this way. And this stuff can just be whatever rocks I want because it doesn't clip into anything. And obviously up there as well. I can just go wherever I want it to go. So let's switch back to Blender as our secondary. Whenever we do that, that'll let us see all of this at one time. Unlike Master Chief Collection, which just, yeah, just some limitations, and if I need to, I can turn the roof back on. Okay. So, yeah, this facade doesn't go quite down to the ground, but like I said, this might be a little taller than it's supposed to be. Might be, not quite sure. And the rest of this is, I mean, I need to get past this part of the building. As soon as I'm above the building, I can start putting in basically whatever rocks I want. But let's go ahead and duplicate this one again. Just like flip it around and rotate it and stuff to make it have a different surface to throw in there. We can just put this right in here and make sure it doesn't clip too much through the wall, and yeah, we're good. Kind of feels like a piece. Shouldn't feel like a piece. I think I want to make it longer. That way it'll feel like the, like it's dripping down from the roof, you know what I mean? Like it formed over time. Like a natural cave would. And switch to object rotation so that I can get it to do what I want it to do. And obviously it needs to tilt back in eventually, but that's around here actually. Where we would duplicate that. Flip it this way, then sort of put it over here because it needs to start to tilt inward very soon. Actually, not quite yet. This one would be sort of flat. And that looks pretty good. Let's see if inside looks like it's not good at all. Yeah, no, not at all. This one is not a good spot. That is the closest I can get to it. Okay, let us do that. Sort of go into the smoothness of this face. To this to sort of give us more of a convincing merge here into the face. Make sure that doesn't clip into the building. Oh, okay. Yeah, is that it? Is this the piece we're currently dealing with? Yes. So then I need it to be just a hair thinner. Back out. That should just about solve it. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Again, just a hair thinner. There we go. That's really nice. Smooth connection. Oh, geez, over here it looks awful. Just hideous. Okay, we're gonna have to put something there to smooth that out. Let's see. If we do another one of these, we sort of bend it, then we can kind of keep that flow as well. Let me go to, let's see. I think we want to just shrink the whole thing. Put it here. It'll sort of keep that shape that it's doing there with those jagged parts. Like there used to be a big piece here that sort of broke away. And we can just sort of match this up as best we can. Smooth out the connection. And this piece might be able to be a little thicker again. I said definitely up. There we go. Okay, that's sort of... Yeah, it makes it look like there used to be a big slat of stone here that broke away from the wall. And smooths out some other connection points pretty well. Maybe slightly further out again. Now this might introduce an area to stand over here. It does, but it's not like too far out, not too big of a deal. And I do think that that's not gonna like change some kind of meta on the map. That's all that matters. And let me make sure I didn't clip inside the building with that. There's something clipping inside the building. Just need to find out which one it is. Oh, it's this piece. After I scaled it up a bit, I guess. Okay. That looks pretty good. Like I said, lighting will make this look better. Lighting being baked. But yeah. If it doesn't look good after lighting being baked, then I will change it. Because that will be very important to maintain good quality visuals. This piece, for example, I do have it jutting out. I don't think it's supposed to jut out. It does come out, but doesn't jut out. You know, it does slope out like this, but it doesn't jut out so much. And that way, these lights will shine against a more flat-looking surface. And then up into, you know, a darker area up here will be it'll have a shadow because it's going to, you know, be basically something like, I gotta get like something like a flat edge like this. I can sort of merge that, like meet them up as my base, and then it tilts like pretty substantially, and then I can actually scale that up a lot because up here it doesn't need to, I don't have to worry about clipping into buildings. And then I can yeah, I can make that, I can meet up with that and make it a bit tweaking the right go. And that'll sort of make it feel, if I do it right, like there is a major slope up here that also sort of comes out this way. Yeah, no, maybe scaling this up was not the right way to go. I think I need to go do it this way. Actually, no, that's just going to put a lip there. Yeah, I need a stone that has a good flat edge like this, and I need it to be a little smaller, so I do need to unscale it. There are a couple other stones that have flat edges, and I need to get them out and like start placing them as well, because too much of the same rock might start making it a little bit repetitive. competitive. This is a good one for... This one goes all the way back to, what, Halo 4? They added it to to Reach with Master Chief Collection, I believe. Basically this one. It's not the same, but it's similar. Now this one could work. Yeah, I think I'm gonna move this. Give myself a new rock to play with. Sorry, rock. Don't mean to betray you, but I got a new rock to play with now. Let's see. Let's put that there, because that even gives me a good slope starting, and that gives me everything I need here. It's an interesting looking shape. Cave is looking good now. There. And pretty soon, I'm going to be able to take a snapshot and replace the one that I have on the YouTube channel right now. I might just replace the one that I'm using for the for this video, for this stream, just because I'll be able to, and that will be nice. I think I want to use this piece up here, so I'm glad I didn't delete it. I need to use it. I need to make it thicker. And I need to make it not as deep. And then this would go really nicely right here as the next part of the rise. And it will, I don't know if you make out anything in that lower right corner of my screen with the Blender models. But there's a nice little meetup right there. That looks like this, basically. It's right up into the structure there until it's basically vertical, right as it touches there, and then it sort of slopes back off. So actually, let's go down a bit. Go kind of like that, and then we'll have that slope up from there. Into another rock, which can be literally anything. I mean, my future plans were to have something up here and sort of be able to put this tunnel here, turn it into a tunnel instead of just a connecting point in my later version, my glow-up version, but I don't know if that's even necessary, and it honestly would introduce some weird balance to the map, so I don't know if I'll even do that, but if I do, I'll rebuild these rocks here to make room and make that work. But for now, I think it's good how it is. Now, is this slope enough? Like I did a lot of work to make this sort of slope out, and then, you know what? This piece is not sloped enough. That's the problem. Means that if I do this, and then slope this one, nope, actually I think that's not quite right. I need to tilt it in like this, because it's just protruding on that side too much. Can create that same structure, but a little bit better, because now it's got that outer curve and then that inward slope, which needs to continue upward to continue to sort of slope in and become very different, you know, upper area. Let's see, what kind of stuff can we do over here? This needs to basically come into a different rock up here. So I'm gonna this end piece, I'm gonna put a different rock there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. It kind of has this curve, gradual sort of curve to it. That's going to then lead into a. See, that's about where my roof cuts off. Where I chopped my roof off in Blender. So I can make it easier to see. Maybe I'll use this piece now. It's been sitting here forever, and honestly, it's kind of the right piece. Obviously, it needs to be a little thicker than this, but not by much. And it fits just very nicely. As the... I gotta tilt it a few times. Then it'll sort of go right there pretty well. Let's see. Let's see, maybe more of like, flip it over here and get that edge. That sort of flat side. It's too big to use this way. We need this to sort of slope into it, but also not look awful. I think it's actually this way that I need to grab it. There we go. Now this is going to give me a good curve to sort of make it rest on top of the structure. Like, you know, like it's built up over time. More like this, a little chunky nonsense, like, you know, like it's been dripping down from above. And that will sort of make it look like it's settled here, like a stalactite, you know, forms over time. We can kind of do that again on the other side. Possibly with the same piece, possibly with a different piece, but yeah. That honestly does not look bad. Yeah, looks like the like it's sort of hugging the structure a bit, but like it built there over time. It's pretty good. It's just emerging out of it. Okay, so that's that area done, and then we can we gotta do some terraforming down here, putting some land in. But I do think that more of this wall would be good, because as we go off that wall, it's that stone wall, it kind of is going to act like a frame for where the land, how far the land needs to go. And if we know how far it needs to go, we know, then we can like judge how high it needs, how quickly it needs to slope, and where it needs to go from there, and all that kind of stuff. Exactly how I'm going to do this piece. I don't know if you can see my mouse down there in the lower right corner, but it's so small. But basically, this piece, this little hill, it's definitely going to be easy. Okay. So the lowest point down here is, let's go back to infinite. Lowest point is right here, right where it would meet up here, which is gonna cut off right around, I think right around here, right at that height roughly. So this is the lowest point, I guess. Honestly, with that, it's almost perfectly in line with that. So maybe I did make that the right height. I might need to make it taller just to let it clip into the floor. But yeah, so right around here is where we need a piece of terrain. I'm going to duplicate this just to put it there, even though it's not the right shape. Just to remind myself later. Ooh, okay, world. There we go. Rotate it, and place it right there. So basically the terrain kind of right here is like, you can get up underneath here. Oh, I think you have to duck to get into there in Master Chief Collection. Let's see. So you go over here, and yeah, oh no, you can fit underneath there without ducking. But yeah, this is the lowest point in this area. It sort of slopes up into that side. So that would be, that's our lowest possible point. And yeah, be better with flat terrain. I will just scale it flat-ish. Yeah, there we go. And then I'll just rotate it, just to sort of mark my point. It's like that. So that is our main, that's what we're trying to reach. Oh, I did, I don't remember if I talked about this ever, but I did think that the, trying to use the terrain that matches the ground out there did actually not work. Like, that was definitely coming out to not look good. I don't remember if I ever explained that. Would these terrains look really good as the ceiling, given that I could sort of add stalactite-like formations coming out of them, like this? That might be good, actually. I know that they don't really have that kind of ceiling in the original. It's still very smooth because it's a low graphics, low polygon count. But like, obviously not that weird angle where it's making it look really extreme, but gives sort of a roughness to the ceiling. That might be good. That way, making these platforms wasn't a huge waste of time. Let's see. Let's see now. Rock. Yes. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. I know I haven't said that like once today, but welcome to the chat. I know lots of people have come and gone that I did not welcome to the chat, but I will all now and welcome them, even though they have already left. But yeah, let's see. I really like this piece, probably because it's got all this like straight edges. I can definitely use this here. I think I might want to turn it around so I don't accidentally clip into the building. Get that slightly flatter side there. But yeah, it comes right out of that corner of that structure, so it is perfect as a rock to use here. Let's see. Go. There, there. Is there a better edge to use for this? No, I think that I'm gonna have to just fill in that little hole and get this in the right spot. There we go. I think that's good. It kind of comes at a tighter angle than that. It's also way shorter than this and smaller, so maybe this isn't the best rock to use for this. I do like this rock though. It's so easy to place without, you know, clipping into structures and ruining anything. It's also sloped down like this. It kind of goes into the floor. But look at how easy that is to just rotate this to an angle and get the right way that you want it. So much nicer. This is a really good rock. And then it kind of... I know y'all probably can't see this very well. I know I've got it on the screen so you can see what I'm doing, but it's so... I gotta keep it small to make it not in the way, so it ends up kind of just not being something you guys can even really see, but it does look like... Okay, it goes a little taller. Needs to... this facade is too big, I think. Because the way it's... Wait, hold on. Maybe I can just rotate it a bit. Or not that way. Oh, not like that. Like this bit. And then I can put something else down here to fill that hole anyway. I have to put... Okay, so my main issue is that... Yeah, okay, I think this is going to curve better into the wall over here. Okay, yeah, that angle works, and then I need to put something here, which can actually be another one of these, but I'm going to make it a little less flat. So I'm going to make it go in like this, and then make it a little thicker so that sort of blends into the rest, into the facade, but also doesn't make room for new errors in the shape. There we go. Sort of works. Let's see if it's clipping inside. It is. There we go. Okay. Then we need to build up from there because this needs to slope back out a bit to sort of come out. This polygon here basically is sloping outward, and that needs to be... It's kind of a rounded shape. Honestly, it is one of these shapes, sort of like this shape. And I'm gonna make it thick again because this one needs to be... This one can be much thicker. It's basically like shape kind of like wait, hold on. This. Yeah. There we go. Switch to object mode. Oh, that's camera mode. Basically, it's like this. It just needs to be much larger. Come out of there. And then I'll have to smooth it over with the rest of the rock. But that is essentially the angle I'm dealing with. Gotta make it look nice where it merges. Don't want it to look grody all of a sudden. Okay, so one of the things is that it needs to tilt. Yeah, we'll do camera rotation actually, which is really rare that I actually use that. Even in Blender, I don't use that hardly at all. Okay, so down here it's doing a very nice connection. Here, not so much. But that is the flat facade, so I can add something to that to make that a little nicer of a connection, and at the same time fill in that hole. So that would be a good, that could be a good position still. Okay, we're still on camera. Let's go ahead and tilt this way, just to tilt the whole thing that direction. Still not 100% at the right angle. There we go. That's closer to the angle that we're looking for. And it merges down here very nicely into that rock. And we can make a really small one. It doesn't really matter which rock we use for this because it's not a big hole to patch. But yeah, we can just stick something in here. That will patch, that'll sure up that hole. And maybe we can fix that seam a bit, actually. Same piece, like I was saying before. And a little bigger. Still a little bigger. And a little bigger still. There we go. That kind of looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit different. I think I was looking at the wrong thing when I was saying that looks good, and now I'm looking at other pieces and parts and I'm like, not so much. Let's see. I'm using camera rotation a lot right now. I sure am. Huh. Apparently it is really good for rocks. I never, like I said, I never use it in Blender. And I never really have used it all that much here either. It's not bad. This seam is really weird where the texture's just kind of end, but it's not too bad. It's actually not really all that noticeable from a distance. I feel like you probably wouldn't notice it unless you're looking for it. If you're trying to judge the map, maybe. Let's see about maybe bringing it thinner, and then I can find a better transition point in that on that side. That almost feels better because it's got this texture here. Just coincidentally lines up with where we need to go, but I need to break it up a little more with some more, there we go. It's like gone. And now we have it over here. It's not as bad over here though because of the fact that it's protruding and then going back into it, so it kind of feels like a separate stone. Separate section of the stone or whatever. So I think that is actually the way we gotta do it. That's a good spot. I'm going to, okay, so this is made up of like, ooh, I don't want to change the flow of our horizontal lines here. Like these horizontal lines are looking right. Because, you know, rock forms in, you know, layers like that. Over, you know, hundreds and thousands of years and stuff like that. So We want to keep that. Don't want to go turning this thing vertical, even though this is made up of more vertical slats, which means I think I can go this way. Stretch it vertical. Keep those same lines. Yeah. There we go. It's looking really nice. Let's go to something. It's looking really good at that one spot as far as this vertical seam goes, but down here it just looks a little bit weird. It might be that work. I just gotta bring it in. Oh wow, that looks like the stone is like forming and sloshing down over a long time in like a cave structure. That's pretty good. Little bit of a weird transition here, which I can definitely clean up. And it's good up there. It's sloping still. Is it supposed to still be sloping? Let's find out. I think so. Or no, it's supposed to be basically straight vertical here. Kind of starts to curve into the next part. But this one shouldn't be sloping. This one should actually be object like that, which means I need to position it correctly. Good, like. That looks pretty good. And then it starts sloping again after that, but outward. This. That sort of like bridges the gap between two different sort of sloped areas. Let's bring this. Well, let's not do too much there. Can't really flip it over, or else all of these are going to look like they're not dripping down. So I think that this is the way to go. And we just sort of make it like a good curve at this time, but now it's starting to slope. And we can kind of lead. I think there's something in the roof up here that connects these two. That little. We are getting higher and higher as we go, which I don't know that that is the intended design. Let's see. Definitely need to turn this around. Because it is too much of the same exact side of the face is not going to look good. But I can clip it into that. That looks nice. Wow, that looks like it's the same piece. I think that came out really good. Okay, cool. That's great. And then down at the bottom, I might be able to... No, that's not what I want. Duplicate. I might be able to put another one down here. I can sort of lead that one into a similar way. Like this, where like that's lining up perfectly. Over here it looks terrible. Let's go that. Oh, that's pretty good. I think this part gets a lot more vertical, so I do need to actually rotate this way before I find the right spot. There we go. That looks great. And that'll be down to the ground. The ground will be clipping into that very soon. So we actually have, let's make sure that we have our area right, because it's, the scale of that is very important. Yes, and we are to here. Look at that. Gotten all the way out to there, and honestly, it does look pretty good. it may be a little too big, and actually that's where we need to get into. Like, this slope is going to go down through the floor. If I move this over, we get a better idea of where that's going to end, which will tell us how much space we have. It might be that I need to bring this closer to the bridge. The whole wall here might need to be a little closer to the bridge, like this way. In which case I can still maintain those nice merger points even while I bring it closer. So that's a little bit closer. That's a little more correct as well. Hopefully that is all I need to do as far as that is concerned, but I can do more later. The flow of this one is probably what's throwing it off. Like, the way the rock isn't like dripping down the same way as these. You see what I mean? Like, it's not settling like that. You know what I mean? And that might be why this feels so weird right here. Because it does to me. Like, it got the right angle, sure, but the right angle could be achieved with other pieces now that I have something to clip them into, you know? But we'll figure that out in a minute, but we'll keep going for now. In fact, we might switch to terrain at this, like the floor, so I can build out some of the floor, because I've got enough of a framework here, and then that and this that I could probably build out along that wall. And that'll give us an idea of whether or not we need to adjust any of that wall before we go forward, because if we don't adjust the wall before we go forward, then it's going to, you know, we might completely throw off our shape. Like, for example, if I keep going at this rate, it'll probably circle around that and completely miss it. And I think that I need to turn a little bit faster or something. Obviously, the next piece is going to turn a lot more than... Actually, no, it goes back out. And then it turns almost like really sharp. Like almost like a 45-degree angle. Really sharp back in. And then curves around. And even comes back in toward the bridge and then back out. So just a little bit. So that's going to be really cool. Let's get this... Let's go back to Master Chief Collection so I can see these slopes. Along that seam, along that edge there. Man, it's going to be cool to script those stalactites so that they drop whenever you blow them up. I haven't done anything about taking damage, but I know how. I was looking at that. I was studying that up ahead of time. Let's, oh, we're on object rotation. I need world rotation. And I think I want this to slope. I want to slope over here. That's actually going to be kind of tilted up, I think. Into the wall. This is going to be really rough placement real quick. And I want this to be a little bit bigger. No, I want to be... Let's see. What am I looking at here? Thickness? Is that the one that'll make it less of a crazy slope? Maybe. But I think it might be length. Yeah, that makes it more gradual. Which means I can like put it inside of there, sort of make it like that, but I also want to sort of tilt up as it gets closer to the wall. Which I can then add some like dirt over there. It's important to get the shape right, and then we can worry about seams and all that kind of stuff afterward. Like, that seam is okay-ish. This is why I did want to use the other kind, is because the seams are never going to be perfect between these. But the baked lighting will probably help. And the fact that it'll be so dark, as someone else was pointing out another time. I forget who said that. But they had a really good point. Is that with how dark it's going to be in the end, it's going to definitely improve that. Let's see, I think I can get it even better if I do this slope here. The seam will not only be better, but the slope will be more gradual. And the larger the pieces, the fewer seams, but also the less detailed the geometry is. So, for example, if I can get this thing to line up down there and up here perfectly, then that would be great. I think this is way too much of a slope. Oh, what's going on here? Um, but yeah. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do much less of a slope here. Maybe tilt it a little more like that. We can get our ground, and then once we have that, we can sort of. So yeah, we want that bottom to line up. There we go. So this will kind of give us a bit of a slope going up there, because in the original, how much is that slope? Yeah, we're going to lead into another terrain piece anyway, so this is the correct slope, and then another terrain piece that's flatter is going to start over down here. So basically this slope is right, and then right around here it gets a little flatter. I definitely am noticing that our height down here, maybe that's too thick. Jeez, what is this? I must have messed something up at some point. Thought I fixed this at one point, but maybe I didn't save it right afterward. But, okay, so this piece, this piece, this piece, and probably grab that as well. And that one. I'll need to... Okay. Remove you and bring you back, and then maybe that'll work. Yeah, there we go. Snap that there. Okay. And that lines up there, and it didn't mess up how it meets with that, so that's good. Maybe a little bit here. I'll have to put a little rock there, but yeah. I think we need to find out how jumping works underneath this little ramp, this little area here. Yeah, the thickness looks good, which means maybe my ramp is a little... Maybe the issue is with my ramp. I can thicken up that piece, for example. Like, some of my pieces can be thickened up. That piece can be thickened up, and my ramp itself could be thickened up if it's not quite thick enough, and that will make the whole thing feel lower, which means this would not be accurate to where I need it to be. Might be able to be like here or something. But basically this is right for here, so maybe I need to adjust my ramp in general. It might just need to be, like, it could be thicker here, and it could be thicker there, and by doing that it would lower the whole thing down pretty substantially. So that's good to know. I need to do that. It looks like there's polygons missing, but it's actually just a super flat rock there. But yeah. Okay, so we need the next terrain piece, and that needs to be yet another slope, I believe. But this slope... Yeah. So... I think that this one needs to be a little bit wider. And come out here. Which means this one needs to be adjusted so it doesn't poke out like that. Which is kind of going to be a pain in the butt, but it'll work out. Let's see. Oof. Yeah, this is why... Oh, you know what? There's gonna be a stalagmite coming out of right around here. Actually, let's see where. No, not quite up there. It's gonna be a little further down the slope. But that would be something that I could use, is things like stalagmites to hide those sorts of flaws. But not here, unfortunately. Okay, so it's like, should I adjust the slope a bit? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Because honestly, looking at it again, it does look like I went a little too far. Okay, there we go. Now, like I said, seams are getting a little wonky, but yeah, we'll work with that. Okay. That's my main concern with the whole tool, the whole terrain tool, is whether or not my seams come out nice, because that would be ideal. Okay, so we've got that slope coming down here, and we need another one coming out of here. Yeah, and then like use like a bowl almost for this part. Okay. I think I can see. I think I see a good way to do all this. This one probably needs to be duplicated. That was not what I wanted. I wanted to be next to it, but I did. You know what? I can duplicate it right. Duplicate it. There we go. I don't have to move it so much. This one can go down. The grassiness just wasn't quite right for Waterworks, unfortunately. Let's see. Now this is going to be sort of inside of that one. And more flat. Definitely not like that. It needs to be flat. And then move down inside of that one. And it should be further back, I think, which means it's going to have to be longer, or else it's going to cause some clipping. So, here we go. There are other pieces with other shapes, but the terrain is probably going to very likely come out to the same piece used over and over and over again like mine. Like this one so far. I have a few places I've already seen where I'm going to have to use other shapes. But here, this is going to be a lot of the same slope used over and over. I'm going to throw some gravel down along some of these seams. Like this one in particular. You can throw some like gravel on top of that, or use another terrain piece to sort of like smooth over those polygons. I think I do need to tilt this out a lot more. That almost looks like it almost smooths out all of them by turning it into a pile of gravel. I wonder how that will look like in the you know, the proper lighting, because it's very bright light. I mean, I could switch it to nighttime, just to make it a little bit closer to what we're expecting it to look like. Light bounce. That's the sunlight bounce. That's cool. I can make that very intense. Ooh. Okay, well, there we go. Skylight. Yeah, I think we want that at 0. Directional skylight. That's how you make like sunsets and stuff like that. That's cool. Sky intensity. Oh, that's the actual... That's the stars and stuff. That's in the sky. Well, it is going to be kind of a... Technically, it will be daytime. That's why I left it at daytime. Sun intensity. It's going to be daytime, but so that's why I left it that, because the sun is up in the sky literally. Oh, I thought I put that underground, and I put it directly above us. Okay. So we want it at like... Oh, okay, there we go. I was going to say it didn't feel that dark for being nighttime, but okay. Wow. That's a lot moodier. That looks nice. Let's see how these seams look in the dark. You can still see them if you're looking for them, but I think that if you're like trying to shoot at people, these seams are actually not that bad. Man, it's like, pardon the pun, night and day. Look at that. Literally night and day. Okay, so let's go and switch that back to bright so I have light to work with, at least to some extent. Yeah. I'll go back to 0, I guess. Okay. Let's do this. Drag it over here. Now, what I'm thinking is it needs to be basically a bowl like this. I'm not using it as a slope, I'm using it as a bowl sort of thing. And there is an actual bowl, and I might just use that, because then it wouldn't have trouble on this end. Yeah, I think I am going to do that. Which means it's a new piece the ability to duplicate it, like the ability to use the same slopes over and over again to sort of shape it out, makes it easier to find. Oh, that's okay. That's not my way. It's gonna make it easier to by duplicating the same thing with different the same texture over and over again. It makes it easier to keep your texture without having to rebuild it. But I probably will want to do. I suppose if I adjust the textures, I can. 1 second. If I adjust the textures, then I could. Oh, that's actually not that bad. This bank will, if I put this at the right angle, it actually work pretty perfectly, I think. Let's see. Yeah, this is a bank. That would work great. I wasn't even looking at that. Like I changed up the textures, and so now I'm gonna have to match this one to those, and it's only a little bit different than it would have been had I not changed them up, but it is technically different. And let's bring this down and sort of tilt it. I think this is the right shape we need. And then bring it out. We can sort of bring it up and merge it. Unless we do actually need to grab the bowl, but I think this is the right way to go. It does make some weird seams. This is what I really like about the one that adjusts to the ground. And I wish they just had a rocky terrain. If they just had like a rocky, sandy terrain. I mean, I know they have the desert, but I don't think that's gonna work. I don't think the desert would come out the right color. Because it's more of a gray color than a khaki, and actually, even mine, I mean, I can select all of these at once and change their textures. Which is another reason why duplicating the same thing over and over again is probably one of the best ways to do it. But like, I've got a grime layer on there, which is adding those rocks. Where's that khaki? Oh, is this grass? I think that gray might be the better option here. Why are the other ones brown, though? Oh, that's the rock layer. Okay. So, like, the original rock is like a gray, and then, like, the lights make it change to sort of a yellowish looking thing. So something like this. Oh, this is the underside rock. This can be, like, really dark. And then this piece. Ooh, this part. Could be like a lighter gray than what I have on the other part. And then my dirt is, it's dirt coarse. Let's find like rock or stone or something. Grass stones might be interesting because that kind of looks like from here it looks like algae, but moss. It'd be good for a damp area. Mud. Let's see what that looks like. Mud bumpy. I think there's a mud rocky, isn't there? Muddy grass. Mud tried. Honestly, yeah, no, the mud bumpy does look really good. I mean, it's also really shiny, which is great. I think having a really muddy, shiny texture would work pretty well. Kind of like that. And then, like, let's see. It actually makes the seams less prominent. And everything would be kind of wet in here, kind of damp. So that actually looks pretty good, and I know it looks kind of weird with how gray it is, but that's because of the time of day. We go to nighttime, and we have the light shining on it right, which we don't even have all the lights properly. set up, and we don't have the skylight with the actual sunlight coming in. But like, this looks pretty close. This looks very close. Might even be darker in the original. This gives us some good texture to look at. And those seams, ugh. Anyway, that makes it to where I can go back up to daylight so I can see what I'm doing. And I know you probably should build in the time of day you're going to be, like in the lighting condition that your final product will be. A lot of the maps, like in general, that would probably be a good idea. But yeah, there wasn't anything more to that. It just would be a good idea. No, I'm just not going to do it because I need to. This is where I wish that you could just like 2 terrain pieces. Oh, right, I'm looking at that. If I select this. If I select this one and that one, the objects kind of the options all disappear because they are different objects. It'd be really nice to be able to like copy and paste. So grass A, rock A, and then flat dirt. Grass A, rock A. Oh, apparently I didn't change it? Wait, what? Did I really? Okay, I didn't change those textures. I thought I did. Oh, right, I had to rebuild the terrain. Twice now. Because it keeps on... It wasn't saving. I forgot about that. Okay, so... That is all correct. I just need to get the coloring right. Which is like... the same dark gray on all 3? I thought I had different grays. That's interesting. Could have sworn that I went with different shades of gray. Maybe even 50 of them. Alright, so maybe I did, because this looks like the correct one. And then this one is, I think, like a really dark. This one's the lighter one. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Or this one. Okay, yeah. Apparently it is this one. Oh. Okay, and then the dirt course was mud. Let's see, I might need to go grab the correct mud, but it was something like mud A or mud B. Mud B, and that was the one I went with. Okay, and then we can increase or decrease the grime amount. Definitely don't see a difference on the scratch amount. Okay, cool. Alright. There's a sort of dip in right here that I don't think is on the original map. Yep, nope, it's just a nice little smooth decline. And then, yeah, so we will, or incline. You know what, I think that if I scale this way, I can smooth out that seam a lot more. Yeah, buddy? Oh, you want to play a video game? You want me to turn on the TV? Yeah? My 2-year-old son is very good at games like Halo and Mario 3D World. Surprisingly good at Super Mario 3D World. For being 2.5. Here we go. So that gives us our sort of dip in and then slope down. There's still that little pot, and I think that what we need is to move this more this way. And maybe to extend it out to smooth that part. And maybe widen it out. So that will also fix our seams a little bit. Just a bit. This is honestly really small seams whenever I do this. What's the matter? What is it? Well, obviously my son is awake, and I might be having to go to get him some food. But he's also trying to play a video game. That's why he's fussing right now. And he wants me to set him up. But he probably doesn't realize it's breakfast time, so I need to get him something to eat. And, yeah. So we've got some terrain and some rocks done. I'm going to keep doing this for the rest of the day, and should have this area rocked, just built out. And, build down this way, hopefully, eventually. Depends on how much time I can actually devote to it throughout the day. My kid's got to do schoolwork, after all. Yeah, this is coming along nicely. I do think I'm going to be able to get a lot more done, though, later. So, I appreciate everybody being here. We are, let's see. I know, you disconnected the controller. Is this the one with the batteries in it? No. Okay, let me go ahead and, end the stream. I'm gonna catch you guys next time. I gotta feed my son, and, my daughters are gonna wake up soon, so yeah, gotta feed everybody.